So, my name is Milosz Flis. I come from Wrocław in Poland, and I deal with sculpture, painting, installation, and I also like to make some photographies. I stayed for 2 months. Maybe it may sound not very original, but the hospitality of the people here and the nature also, like, it's really, you have this feeling that the people who take care of the forest, they do it like really right way, because you feel like you're in the nature, because it's quite untouched, but still they have to manage to organize it somehow, because a lot of people go there, so there are these paths of course, even if they have to cut some wood, they don't take it, they just leave it in the forest, and I really appreciate it, because in this old wood there is also a lot of life inside, like a lot of fungi or bugs or this kind of, or even plants. I think it's, for me, it's the best part is this forest that I went to quite a lot of times, and also because I used I go there to find for some stuff for my pieces, because I use this organic waste, or like, let's say, some branches or the moth or bags. So I go there. I went there quite a lot to just to look for the materials for my work, but also I really like to be there because it's a really good, nice forest, and it's quite big, so you can really spend a lot of time there. Like these pieces are directly inspired by the surrounding of this place where we are, Schafhof, and it's, as you know, it's like in the middle of the forest almost, uh, by the city on the hill. So what I was doing for really quite a long time was going to the forest for really long walks and taking a lot of pictures and gathering a lot of organic materials, like branches or mm, little stones or the different stuff that I can use for these dioramas, that I can use in this really small scale. So I've built these pieces mostly of the things that I found here. Like, I had some ideas about how much can I do in this period, basing on my previous experiences, but yeah, when I came here, like, I started with painting one quite big painting, but it turned out that it's not really what I want to do here. Like, I started with this painting because it was what I was recently doing in Wrocław, but when I came here, it turned out that it's not really like the best thing to do here, because I make this painting with a lot of details, so you have to paint them for a really long time, so I didn't want to focus on one piece for such a long time. I wanted to do more experiments, so that's why in the end it turned out that I came back to the old technique that I used to do. Then it's named, I called it the capsules, and it's the technique of the small dioramas that are placed, put it inside these plastic tubes, and you can see this scene, this diorama, through the magnifying glass, through the lenses. So this is more or less what I've been focusing on. It's like I'm basing on the, let's say, platform that is not more than 8 centimeters to, let's say, 20 centimeters, something like this, because it's the best, let's say, space that can fit into this kind of plastic tube that are used for the canalization. So these are the most basic things. So this technique is like, I always use found objects. So before I used more like plastic findings or like the old plastic figures of animals or from the pop culture or this kind of figures, and also this small prizer, that is the name of the company that produces these small figures of humans or even different kind of environment for dioramas that are quite popular here in Germany, I guess. So this is like the technique that I'm focusing on this scene with the knowledge that you will always have the ability to look at it from one perspective. So this is more like composing painting actually, because it is three-dimensional, and you kind of have this feeling of it being three-dimensional, but at the same time you can only look at it from one side. So so that's how I try to compose this. And yeah, the main difference is that I can spend all of the time here, like most of the time, if I'm not like going to the shopping or to watch the museum or exhibition, but most of the time I can just focus on the work, on what I do, and it's something completely different. You have to really change your thinking to it, because in some way it's, of course, it's much better, but at the same time, if you get used to some kind of system that you have to work as well or do different things like I do in my city, like for example to make money or this kind of stuff. So then you are focused more in this time that you have, in this little time that you have for your work. And here, when you have so much time, you don't really know what to do with it. Like, but in the end, it's better this way, of course. If I had it like this all the time back in Warsaw, which is my goal, of course. So I think it would be the best way for me. And also, like, the difference is also the studio. My studio in Wrocław I have it for quite a few years now. I don't actually remember how many years, but I really got it organized very well now for my needs. So I just come here, come into the studio, and I have everything in its place. And in the residency, you have to start with organizing this space. And I'm really focusing now on the realistic paintings. Like I make quite a lot of photographies now, and just everyday photographies, and I'm choosing some of them and changing them in a really very little way. So, for example, I enlarge some parts or make some parts look smaller of the painting, or manipulate the colors a little bit. So this is what I'm focusing on the most now, but also on the sculptures. And the sculptures are also based on the realistic aspect. So I also work with different scale of the objects and manipulate the objects, but still to make them look quite realistic. So this is more or less what I'm planning to do. Like I have some sculptures started already that are waiting to be finished, and I have a lot of pictures that I've chosen to be painted, but each painting is taking 1 or 2 months to be finished, so they have to be like, they have to wait for their time. Like there was one time I was just wandering around, exploring the surrounding of the building, and it was quite early in the morning, I guess. And I just went there, like in front of Schafhof, and there is this kind of, let's say, cave or something built like this from the sticks. It looks like a house of some animal, like some den. And I approached it, and there was this stuffed berserk. I got really scary of it because it's in this kind of aggressive position, and I didn't know it was there. So, there I was just wandering around in this peaceful surrounding, and all of a sudden I see this animal that is looking like it's going to attack me in a second or something. So I was really surprised. I'm not really sure if it was the intention of the artist who placed it there, because I've seen this stuffed animal just being moved around, maybe by kids or something, so maybe it just happened to be there, that it haven't been there before this day, or maybe day before somebody have put it in there, so that's why I didn't see it before. But yeah, that's my funny story, because I got really scared of this.